Hello everyone, I am Vidya Patil from Yashwantrao Chavan Institute of Science, Satara. Today I will discuss about the tertiary structures of proteins. Before that, I summarize few points here. I already give the information regarding with primary structure, secondary structure, peptide bond, Zwitter-ion concept, amino acid concept, classification of proteins. All these points are covered in a separate videos. In this video, I will only explain about the tertiary structure and its forces for the stabilization. Just see this diagram. First upon polypeptide chain means one amino acid joins to the second amino acid joins to the third amino acid by forming a peptide bond in between two amino acids. This primary structure is very important according to the function of protein. What is the sequence? According to that, packaging of protein and function of protein is there. Primary structure, then later on secondary structures are formed in which alpha helix and beta sheets are formed. Then there are also separate videos for alpha helix and beta sheet formation. Tertiary structures means coiling and folding of polypeptide chain. And in again higher level, some protein subunits comes in association to form a final biologically functional protein, which is called as a quaternary structure of protein. In this lecture, we will see only about the tertiary structures. Peptide chain undergoes a coiling and folding to produce a tertiary structure. The way the structure folds has an important impact on properties of protein, that is function of protein. When there is no proper folding takes place, then there is a misfolding of protein, which is abnormal protein or non-functional protein. So that this coiling and folding, proper coiling and proper folding is very essential for the function of protein. Again, tertiary structure brings active amino acids together. These active amino acids are otherwise scattered in a polypeptide chain and which are apart from each other. But when there is a proper folding like this, suppose this is the fold, then or this is the another fold in this example, then there is active amino acids comes together and they forms the active site or proper functional site in the protein. I give the one example is here myoglobin. This is the active site of myoglobin which contains heme as a prosthetic group. Function of myoglobin is to binds with oxygen, and for this purpose there is a proper cleft is available with heme group, and this is only possible because of proper folding of polypeptide chain in its proper shape. Tertiary structure is maintained by different types of the bonds or forces. We know that it's three-dimensional shape. Tertiary structure means protein's three-dimensional shape or protein's configuration. To maintain as it is, there is a different bonds or different forces are essential. And here primary bond means peptide bond, which is as a present in a peptidyl backbone. In this diagram, this red line shows that it is a peptidyl backbone, and this peptide bond also involved in the stabilization of polypeptide chain. This is recognized as a primary bond, or while there is a other bonds are also present, these are considered as a secondary bonds, which are again four types. The bonds which are stabilized the polypeptide chain within 3D shape of the protein. For that, out of four, first bond is ionic bond or electrostatic interactions. Second bond is a hydrogen bond. These bonds are established between the side chains of polypeptide backbone as well as side chains of amino acids. Third bond is hydrophobic interactions, and fourth bond is disulfide linkage or bond. We will see one by one. Ionic bond. Here these are formed when acidic or basic amino acids are joined together. These bonds are weaker than the hydrogen bonds and involve in maintenance of protein folded structure. One example is shown in this diagram. NH3 plus and COO minus, they comes close together and forms the ionic bond. Let's see details about the ionic bond. Example of ionic bond is the negatively charged carboxylic group of some amino acids like glutamate, aspartate residues. Okay, these are attracted towards the positively charged amino groups which are present in the amino acids like lysine. They are comes together and to form a ionic bond, which is shown in this example, aspartate and lysine ionic bond. From lysine epsilon amino group, here from lysine epsilon amino group it is a NH3 plus, and from aspartate it is a COO minus group, so that positive and negative both charges are come close together here and they forms the ionic bond. Another instance of ionic bonding is that some metal ions like magnesium forms the two ionic interactions with the side chains of amino acids like aspartate, glutamate, and involved in the stabilization of protein structure along with metal ions. Next bond is hydrogen bond. There are two patterns of hydrogen bonds are found in a protein structure stabilization. One is sharing of hydrogen bond between the amide hydrogen and carbonyl oxygen of the peptide bond of polypeptide backbone. This backbone itself involved in the formation of hydrogen bond, as like alpha helix, beta sheets. They are established because of the formation of hydrogen bonds. In such a way, some peptidyl backbone also involved in the hydrogen bond formation, either direct peptide bond to peptide bond, or sometimes peptide bond and side chain of amino acid. And another, there is a second pattern of hydrogen bond formation, means only side chains are involved in the hydrogen bond formation. Means amino acids like aspartate, glutamate, serine, threonine like amino acids are involved in the hydrogen bond formation because of their side chain nature. This is a hydrogen bond formation diagram is shown here. In that case, OH from peptidyl backbone, and here also OH from peptidyl backbone, they are involved in the hydrogen bond formation or side chains, side chain hydrogen. Okay, both side chains as well as peptidyl backbones are involved in the hydrogen bond formation. Some examples are shown in this diagram, as a CH2OH and C double bond O from peptidyl backbone. They comes together to form a hydrogen bond. In this way, hydrogen bonds are established in a polypeptide chain for their stabilization. One thing is that before the starting the hydrophobic interaction, I will tell here as a hydrogen bonds are, even though weak in nature, but their number is maximum, so they gives the maximum contribution for the stabilization of tertiary structure. Next type of bond is here hydrophobic interaction. Here hydrophobic interaction example is shown here. Hydrophobic groups like amino acids like leucine, isoleucine, valine, they shares their hydrophobic side chain for the hydrophobic bond formation. These are formed because of the tendency of the non-polar side chains of neutral amino acids to remain closely associated near one another. They comes close together. Hydrophobic side chains comes together to form a hydrophobic interaction. When a protein molecule is submerged in an aqueous medium like water or any buffer, there is a tendency to expose a maximum number of polar groups to the surrounding medium. That means at the outer side of the protein. While non-polar groups, non-polar amino acids remains present internally, that is they are directed internally, they remains inside the protein. And for this purpose, to maintain the all amino acids at the interior side, hydrophobic amino acids, there is a hydrophobic interactions are essential. These hydrophobic interactions do not form the true bonds, but gives the great importance in the formation of tertiary structure and maintenance of tertiary structure. I quote here one example is there in case of sickle cell anemia. There is a valine amino acid. Okay, at the beta chain 6th position there is a glutamic amino acid is present. When this glutamate is replaced by the valine, there is a folding pattern goes on changed, because valine is hydrophobic amino acid and glutamate is a hydrophilic amino acid. When glutamate is present, it is at the surface, but when there is a valine, then fold pattern goes on change. Valine comes at the interior side, and so that conformational changes in the beta chain of hemoglobin, ultimately entire structure of hemoglobin goes on changed. Alpha beta configuration is there, and this hemoglobin do not shows the proper ability of oxygen binding, and so that there is a sickle cell anemia is observed in a patients. What is the significance of these amino acids and their bonds and their folding patterns in a protein? Just I quote here one example as a sickle cell anemia. Next bond is disulfide linkage or disulfide bridge, or also it is referred as a disulfide bond. This is a covalent linkage, covalent bond, and it gives the rigidity to the protein molecules. It is a relatively more stable bond as compared to others. Even though their numbers are small, they give the maximum contribution in the protein's fold. Disulfide bond is formed between the two cysteine molecules. Disulfide bond formation is shown in this diagram. Here CH2SH and CH2SH. These two CH2 chains comes together and formation of disulfide bond takes place. Okay, here S bonding is occurred, and so that there is a one covalent bond is formed as a disulfide bond, and so that this fold in polypeptide chain is occurred. This same example is shown in this diagram also. Even though here is also same example, disulfide bond formation. The enzyme ribonuclease contains single polypeptide chain and 4 disulfide bonds. In some details regarding the disulfide bond again here, ribonuclease enzyme contains 4 disulfide bonds, which is shown in this diagram. Insulin contains 3 disulfide bonds, as a one is intrachain disulfide bond and 2 are interchain disulfide bonds. Intrachain means A chain. Within the A chain, one bond is present, and interchain means A chain and B chain. A chain and B chain. In this way, there is a two disulfide bonds are established. So insulin contains 3 disulfide bonds, while oxytocin contains 1 disulfide bond as a first amino acid, and its 6th amino acid forms the disulfide bond. In this way, there is a proper folding of polypeptide chain is occurred because of disulfide bonds. Protein lacking the disulfides, they maintain their tertiary structure through the other non-covalent bonds like hydrogen bond, ionic interaction, hydrophobic interactions, etc. But I quote here few examples as a ribonuclease, insulin, and oxytocin like structures. Thank you.